How's it going? Today I'm talking about how to walk during your run walk intervals. So, this is such a common thing. The majority of my runners use run walk intervals, some form of it. Most do something like 30-30, 20-30, 15-30, occasionally 30-60, maybe 45-45. I'd say 80% of my runners in Stronger, Faster, Finisher are using 30-30 as their preferred run walk interval when they're training for runDisney races. And it comes up all the time of, well, how fast should I be doing my walking interval? And the answer is it depends. Now, if you've been listening for any length of time, you know that there's always nuances. If you're ever seeing somebody online where it's like the end all be all, this is 100% what you should do 100% of the time, every single person should do this, be wary of that. Okay, let's get into this. So the run walk interval. So, I really believe in purposeful pacing. Purposeful pacing meaning you are going at that pace on purpose. There is a specific reason you're going on this pace, going for this pace, doing this pace. There's a specific reason for that. So it could be the long, easy run, and that should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. It should feel really, really easy, comfortable. You should be able to have a conversation. You should be able to sing. If you follow heart rate zones, it should be mostly in zone 2. Maybe a little bit of zone 3, but it should not be creeping up to zone 4 and zone 5. Please remember, I don't follow heart rate zone training. I give that information because so many runners do. Please be mindful if you follow heart rate zones. One, that heart rate is affected by so many different things. I'm not going to list them all out. I've listed them in other episodes before. If you have questions about it, send me a DM, runDisney DPT on Instagram. Heart rate is affected by so many different things. And wearables, watches, Garmin, Apple Watch, things like that, aren't the best indicator. They shift around, they lose connection. They don't accurately read your heart rate 100% of the time. If you want more accurate readings, you need to wear something like a chest strap. Those are much more accurate, but there's still some inconsistencies there. So please be mindful with the heart rate, following the heart rate. I give that as an example because I know many runners use heart rate zones to guide their training. You want that in the lower zones for a long, easy run. And then if you're doing things like speed workouts, you want to be faster. But how fast? And then if you're doing run walk intervals, how fast during the run and how fast during the walk interval? We're talking the walk interval today. So in general, I recommend keeping that walk interval the same, no matter what your workout is. Whether it's your long, easy run, whether it's your speed workout, a tempo run, a progression run, 30-20-10, hills, I recommend that walking interval be the same. I've had questions from runners asking things like, well, if I'm going slower during my run interval for my easy run, should I walk faster during my walking portion? My answer is no. The reason for that is if you're doing run walk intervals, you're likely doing it because you need a break. You can't run that full amount of time. So if you're slowing down your easy run because it's too fast, you can't stay in heart rate zone 2, you can't have a conversation, you can't sing, it doesn't feel easy. If you're decreasing that pace, going slower, I should clarify. When I say decrease pace, I mean go slower. I'll try and use just go slower or go faster. Because when we actually look at the numbers, if you're looking at like a 15-minute per mile and decreasing it is technically going down, so it's like a 10-minute per mile, that's technically faster. Sorry for the confusion. I'm recognizing that in real time in the moment. I'll try and use slower and faster for consistency. Okay, so if you are slowing down your run portion of your run walk during your easy run, if you almost just caught myself. If you go faster during the walking portion to make up for it so that your easy run doesn't take as long or so that your average pace doesn't get slower, it negates the whole purpose of going slower during the run portion because you slow down that run portion to make it easier for you. But if you come down on that run portion and you come up and go faster on that walking portion, you're not going to change your effort. It's still going to be too hard based on what you're doing. So this exact scenario recently happened in my Stronger, Faster Finisher group. One of my members said that her easy run really doesn't feel that easy. The average pace she was doing was something like 15 minutes per mile, which probably sounds slow, right? There are multiple ways to skin a cat. I don't know why I just said that phrase. I don't usually say that phrase. There are multiple ways to get to this 15-minute per mile. You could be, if you're doing 30-30 intervals, you could be doing a 10-minute per mile running pace and a 20-minute per mile walking pace. That would average out to 15. You could do an 11-minute per mile running pace and a 19-minute per mile walking pace. That would average out to 15. You could do a 12-minute per mile running pace and an 18-minute per mile walking pace. That would average out to 15. The end result is the same. So let's give the example. Let's say I don't remember what my runner's actual paces were, but for this conversation, let's say in the beginning, the running pace was 10 minutes per mile and the walking pace was 20. We're still averaging out at 15. If she slows down her running pace to 12 minutes per mile, yes, that is slowing it down by 2 minutes per mile as the pace. But if she then increases her walking pace, I did it again. I said increase. If she goes faster on her walking pace to 18 minutes per mile, that's still averaging out at 15 minutes per mile. Her body is still exerting all of that effort. And it's not slowing down. We need it to slow down. So we need to keep that 12-minute per mile running pace, change to the 12-minute per mile running pace, and keep the walking pace at 20 minutes per mile to average out at 16 minutes per mile. The walking pace should stay the same. Keep it the same for your tempo runs, keep it the same for your progression runs, keep it the same for your 30-20-10. And now you can always go slower. If you need more of a recovery, absolutely do that. But don't go faster on your walking pace to boost your numbers. Because that's not the point. You want to use that as a recovery. It's the same thing with doing all of your long runs at a super fast pace and doing all of your speed workouts at that same super fast pace. You're going to exhaust yourself and then you can't get faster. Use your walking portion of your run walk intervals as some recovery. That is the main reason why runners use run walk intervals, because they can't keep running for the full length of time. So if you go faster on your walking pace and you go slower on your actual running pace, you're not going to get faster. But if you slow down on that walking pace on things like speed workouts, it could mean that you have energy to go faster during the 20 seconds or the 10 seconds or the 15 seconds, depending on if you're doing a 30-20-10 or a progression run or something like that. Keep that walking pace the same. The same thing happened with another Stronger, Faster, Finisher member doing a tempo run. Now, a tempo run I use to create, to simulate what you could do on race day. So one way to simulate what you're going to do on race day is a progression run where somebody's progressively getting faster and faster and faster. That's for somebody who wants to make sure that they don't go out too fast and they just start off slow and they go faster, faster, faster. Another thing to do is tempo runs. So this could be used to mimic race day if you want to see what it feels like to go fast for a certain amount of time and then you slow it back down. To kind of mimic, maybe you have some tight points on race day. Maybe you want to go slower during the parks and run faster on the highways. So this mimics that change in speed in that aspect where you're going faster and then you're coming back down. You're going faster, then you're coming back down. Again, I just did increasing, decreasing, up, down. Sorry, where you're going faster on the highway, you're going slower in the parks. You're going faster on the highway, you're going slower in the parks. You're going faster for some amount of time, you're going slower for another amount of time. That's what tempo run is. So an example would be you warm up for 10 minutes and then you have 3, maybe 4 different paces. I usually do 3. And so you run at your run 2 pace for 5 minutes and then you run at your 3 pace for 5 minutes and then you go back to your run 2 pace and slow it down. You do that for 5 minutes and then you run at your run 4 pace for 5 minutes. So you go even faster than your run 3 pace and then you bring it back down for your run 2 pace again. Again, your walking interval pace should be standard walking interval pace. You don't want to increase both at the same time. That's not the point of this workout. It's not to boost your numbers. It's to get you running faster during the run 4 portion. So if you're starting off, let's say your easy pace is, your run 2 pace is 4.0 miles per hour. So that is a 15-minute per mile pace for the run portion. And your walking pace is 20 minutes per mile. So you run 30 seconds at 15 minutes per mile, you walk 30 seconds for 20 minutes per mile. And you do that for 5 minutes. Then your run 3 pace, let's say that's 14 minutes and 30 seconds running. Your walking pace is still 20 minutes per mile. You don't want to oscillate and change that walking pace. You wouldn't want to go from 20 minutes per mile walking pace and then go down, again, increase, decrease. Glad I'm catching myself. You wouldn't want to go from 20 minutes per mile walking to 18 minutes per mile walking and the 14 minutes and 30 seconds per mile running pace. You're going to gas out. You're going to exhaust yourself. It happens. It happens, right? Use this information to make sure it doesn't happen to you. We don't want that to happen. We want to have success. And these are different ways to have success. So make sure when you are doing run walk intervals, have a standard pace for your walking interval. It doesn't have to be Sniffari pace. I do recommend it be slower. Make it slower. It's a recovery for you. If you're doing run walk intervals, you're likely doing it because you can't run that whole length of time. And that's fine. The way to make it so that you can keep going mile after mile is slow down that walking pace. I invite you to try that and see how much you can push during the designated speed workouts, remember, or race day, not long, easy runs, but see how much you can push during the 30 seconds of running when you keep your walking pace at a standard walking pace. If you keep that walking pace standard and you keep if you're keeping able to, that doesn't sound right. If you're able to keep getting faster during that running pace, your overall average pace is going to speed up.